for you the long-awaited videos on how and why I became a medical assistant. Now these videos are going to be very chatty, and I will break them up, I think, into into 2 or 3 parts, because I don't want them to be like an hour long, because it's a lot of information I'm going to throw at you. So let's just dive in with the first part on how and why I became a medical assistant. I've been a medical assistant since about 2007, so about 10 years now. I can't count. 10 years now I've been a medical assistant, and I love my job. I really do. I have a great time at my job, and I just really like what I do. And I became a medical assistant because I've always wanted to be a nurse. That's always been the ideal goal for me. That's always been the dream. But I wanted to make sure that is actually what I wanted to do. And at the time, like, totally cliche story, but single mom, I was living with my dad, and I had to get out of there. I had to stand on my own, take care of my kids, but I can do that on minimum wage, which back then feels like ancient, but it was about $8 an hour, $9 an hour. 2 kids, that's not enough. With rent and bills and everything. If you're lucky, you get an apartment that includes utilities. I was not that fortunate. So anyway, so I was sitting around and I'm like, I can't do this. I was working as a telemarketer. Oh my god, worst job ever. God bless the ones who do that for a living, because oh god, that was horrible. I lasted, I think, 2 weeks. Seriously, that was the worst. And I'm a true believer in reading signs. Like, the universe is telling you what you should do. You just have to pay attention to it, you know? And so I was at home and I was cleaning, and I had the radio on, and I had heard an advertisement for Coin American Institute, which is now Coin College. And I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool, but whatever, let it go. And like a day later, I was looking at the newspaper and I seen an advertisement for Coin College. And I was like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna rip this out, just keep it on the side, I'm gonna call. And there that night, I was watching TV and a commercial. I'm like, what the heck? I was like, okay, if this isn't a sign, then I don't know what is. So I'm like, you know what, let me just give them a call, see what they're all about. Can't hurt to call, right? And I called, the lady was so nice, and she's like, oh, come in tomorrow, we're gonna schedule you, you'll get a tour of the campus and everything. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went, and in downtown Chicago, it's just one floor, one unit, in one of the high rises. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And they had, at the time, they just had medical assistant, administrative assistant, pharmacy tech, and billing and coding is what they offer. I believe now they also do have, physical therapy assistant, which I was actually really excited for, but they were just building that program. It wasn't ready at the time. But anyhow, so I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I really liked the advisor that I had. Gave me a tour. I saw the sim lab. I got to walk into different classes. I not disturbing them first, but got to sit in and see what it's all about. And they asked me to take a quick kind of like placement test, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know I was gonna have it. I was so nervous. I didn't study for anything, but like, no, it's really quick. Don't worry about it. You just want to see like where you're at. I'm like, okay, fine. I think it was about 30 questions. I could be wrong, but I remember like 30 questions, and it was a little bit of everything. A couple of reading, a couple of math. I could just see where we're at, right? I took it, and I'm like, oh my god. They're gonna come back and tell me that I totally bombed this test because I wasn't ready for it. It kind of like totally like threw me off. That I was not expecting to take a test. So she came back, oh, don't worry, you did really well. Now let's sign you up. I'm like, oh, hold on. First, what do you have to offer me? So they explained the way the course worked at this school. It is, I'm sure it's the same way. You take one class at a time, and it's 3 weeks. So it's intense. And in 3 weeks, you have to pack what a whole semester's worth. 16, 18 weeks of stuff into 3 weeks. They had morning and day classes. I went in the day, and it was from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's a whole day, and you're in this one class, and they're just throwing everything at you. But I had really good instructors. I was really nervous, and I'm like, this is going to be too intense. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I was very surprised at how encouraging all the instructors were, because they want you to learn, they want you to progress. So I went about it, and I signed up. They did my financial aid. They helped me with, I had to get a student loan. Now, what I thought was pretty cool is that the tuition included my books and my uniform, because you had to wear your scrubs every single day. It's your uniform, you have to wear it every day. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, I came back about a week later, and I picked up my books and my uniform. And they start, I believe, every three weeks. Like I said, it's a class, and every 3 weeks it's a new module. So they try to start every new class with medical terminology, because that's the foundation for everything. So medical terminology was my first class, and I had also tried to run down the classes that I took. Anatomy and physiology, I took ethics, I took math, I took billing and coding, the MA part of it, of course. And what else did I take? I took a psychology, I believe. No, I didn't take psychology. Sociology, and a computer class. There was 7 or 9 classes. I can't remember what they all were, forgive me. But I'll have a link down to the school that I went to down below. So, like I said, I loved all the instructors that I had there. Now, the instructor that I had for the medical assistant itself program was Miss Birchfield. Hey girl, she was like so amazing. Seriously, this lady, she really pushed us. She really drilled us. She was sweet and kind, but she was firm. Like, you don't mess around in her class. But I never heard her yelling at anybody. She was never demeaning to anybody, because I have had teachers that were like that were just like, what's your problem? Like, you don't need to speak to people that way. She was an angel. She seriously, I can never speak more highly about Miss Birchfield. And she really pushed us and drilled us. Every single day we were drilling. Test questions, what she believed would be on the exam when we took our certification test, and just constantly drilling us, because I didn't even remember studying for the boards. I done my certification test. I don't remember sitting home studying for it, because she was constantly drilling us. So the program there's 2 types of the way you could end your program. You could get a diploma, or you could get your certification. The diploma program was 7 months. I opted for the 7 months one because I needed to finish faster. I need to start work. I need to start providing for my children and helping my dad out with bills that I'm accumulating in his house. So I did the 7-month program, and it was a great experience at that school. I had a great experience. Now the other one is the the certification program. That one is an additional 5 months. So if you stay an extra 5 months, you get your associate's degree. I should have done that, but like I said, I really didn't want to stay any longer than I had to, because I had to start working. I had to start making money and provide for my family. So with that option, you also have to do your externship. An externship is about 6 weeks, I want to say. Again, this was a bajillion years ago, so I don't remember how many weeks it was. I want to say it was anywhere from like 6 to 10 weeks, maybe. And you have to accumulate a certain amount of hours. Oh my God, don't ask me. I don't remember how many hours I had to do. But well, while I was still in school, my kids had a dentist appointment. At the time, the dentist they went to shared office with a physician. So you walk in, literally it's the dentist or the doctor. And the doctor had a help wanted sign. Let me see what it's all about. So I went and I inquired about it. The front desk lady was leaving, so she said that it's her position that they're trying to fill. So I filled out the application. I'm like, they're going to tell me no because I have no experience. But the doctor actually called me and said, hey, I see you're taking billing and coding. So I was like, yeah, at the moment I was enrolled in that class. There was that time. So the doctor hired me while I was still in school, and it worked out perfectly because I was in school from 8 to 1 and I started working from 1:30 to about 6 or whenever the last patient was there. It worked out amazingly because she was in the neighborhood where my kid went to school. So the school was right across the street. I mean, everything lined up perfectly for me. I couldn't have been more lucky and more blessed at the time. So when it came time for me to graduate and do my I told the doctor, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to quit because I have to do my externship. I don't know what the hours are that they're gonna give me. And she's like, oh no, she's like, I can't have that. So she actually called the school and I was able to do my externship at her clinic, which was awesome because I was getting paid. Nobody else was getting paid. So I did my externship with her, and I ended up staying with her for another about a year and a half, something like that. About a year and a half, I stood working with her after I graduated. So I got my experience. So it was a really great experience that I had. She was an internal medicine family practice doctor, so we saw everything. Everything from like diabetes, and we had one patient come in that he just, like, something was off, you know? He didn't look well. And then when she brought him back, he was like completely yellow. I had never seen a patient so jaundiced before. It was incredible. So I've seen it all there with her. We had all kinds of wounds and everything. It was awesome. It was awesome because I got that experience. So once I got my time in with her, I started applying at hospitals, because then I had finished my exam. I had taken my certification and I passed my exam. I got my certification. So I was like, okay, it's time to go. So I was really heartbroken to leave her because it was just me and the doctor. She had no other staff. And I really enjoyed my time working with her, but you have to know when it's time to leave. When you're not that I wasn't happy, it's just there was nowhere to go. There was no room for growth working in a private clinic, in a little neighborhood clinic. There's nowhere to go. There's no room for growth there. So I had to leave. So I applied to like every hospital I can think of that I hired medical assistants, and I got very lucky, and I got a call back from a hospital I have always wanted to work for, and I'm still there. I've been there about 8 years now. But we'll go into detail about that in the next video. I know you guys want to know more about just medical assisting. So for the exam, for the certification test, there are, I believe, 4 national tests that you can choose from depending on what your school goes with. My school they take the exam with the AMT, American Medical Technologist. I took that exam about, I want to say, a month after I graduated. And again, I don't remember studying at home for that exam because my instructor drilled us. I dreamt and breathed everything that was in the medical assistant textbook. Now I wish I had my book. I no longer have it, unfortunately. While I was living with my dad, I was living in the basement, and our basement flooded. I lost all my books, so I was really bummed that I don't have that book anymore, because I'd like to reference stuff back. Because I mean, I've been out of school a long time, and there's still things that I forget, or I'm like, let me refresh on my medical terminology, which you don't really use, actually. Not so much. It's pretty layman's terms that the doctors speak to, and there's one physician I work with that I'm like, hold on, can you write that down real quick? Because I'm like, what the heck did he just say? So, but I've worked with him for a couple of years now, so I'm like, all right, it's second nature now, our conversations. I'm like, okay, I know what he's talking about. And people are like, what the heck did your doctor just order? I'm like, don't worry, because I know my doctor. And so I took the exam, and it was about, a couple hours. I'm gonna say 2-3 hours, I think. I took that test. Again, please forgive me, it was 10 years ago that I took the test. I do remember for that test, there was a lot on anatomy, medical terminology of the yin yang, instruments. The instruments part threw me off because that, I was like, what the heck? There weren't too many questions on that, thankfully. Again, with the AMT test that I took. And there was one question like, what is the name of like these sutures or like these scissors or something to that effect. I just remember they had all kinds of scissors on there. They had plants and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you need my move, because I really could not remember. Honestly, I could not remember. They had instruments on there. They did have a lot. I was very surprised on billing and coding. I was surprised because that's not what I went to school for. I went to be a medical assistant, not a billing and coder. But I actually do deal with billing and coding when I have to call for insurance companies to get approvals for CT scans or MRIs or medications. I have to give codes on what diagnoses are. So it does help. You do see it. And we also had questions on anatomy, medical terminology, instruments, billing and coding. What else? Those are like the main ones that popped out at me and still sit with me that I remember to see on there. Now they had a couple insurance questions. They had tube questions, like the different types of blood tubes. I saw a lot of that on there as well. And wrapping, how to wrap wounds and stuff. I saw questions on that too. That threw me out because she did show us that, but she didn't focus on that. So we had, I think, like one class was dedicated to that. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of remembered, but I honestly don't think I passed those questions, to be completely honest. I don't think I passed those questions. But I passed the test, so I did something right. And yeah, I think that's it for now. I will talk to you more about the job that I have right now, which I love. I love what I do. I love the department that I'm in. But when it comes to medical assisting, it's all just take a deep breath, take it all in stride, take it one day at a time, guys. Study, study, study. I cannot tell you enough to study. If you don't have an instructor like mine that constantly drills you, unfortunately, I have seen students have approached me on Instagram that have said, hey, you know, my instructor just reads off the PowerPoint, so it doesn't really go into detail. I'm so sorry that you have an instructor like that, but then you have to be your own instructor and get together with a group of people, make friends. You're not alone. Everybody's in the same boat. You don't have to be so competitive with each other, because you gotta learn this together, you know? Learn as a group, learn together, help each other out. Now, I'm not really sure what other questions you may have, but if you do, please leave them down in the description box. Part 2 will be answering more questions that I got from people. I have them all written down in here. I'm so excited for the Q&A part more. But please feel free to email me. I'll put my email address down below. I try to get to my emails more, but the best way to communicate with me is through social media. Not to, you know, throw my stuff out there like that, but but really, that is the best way to get in touch with me. Twitter and Instagram I use the most. I do have a Facebook page, a public Facebook page that you can send me messages, but I mostly respond to Twitter and Instagram. So I will leave all that information down in the description bar. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that I was probably talking way too fast, but I still get nervous in front of the camera, so I'm so sorry, guys. If you have any questions or you want me to clarify something, go more into detail about something, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to go into further detail and help you out with anything that I can. Thank you so much for watching, guys.